By the Emperor's light, another warp breach! Purge the heretics for the Emperor! Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Rogue Trader. So, last time, we managed to beat this horrible monster. And this time, we're hoping to be able to get out of the tutorial and start Chapter 1 now that we have looted everything that we can. Hello?
Keep your wits about you.
The heir is dead. He sacrificed himself to save the entire dynasty.
Old man, he was never going to make it. He was mutating right in front of us. You just ended his suffering sooner.
Yeah, no, to be fair, we kind of just stood in a circle and beat the crap out of him until his suffering had ended. But, fair enough. Who are you? You have a name. The ship could use a prayer or two not right now, but it's early, too early for a funeral. My repairmen are already hard at work fixing the damaged compartments. We can and we will make it. You're the one I'm looking for.
Rival, Master Helmsman, Systems Status Report.
Hello, Grandpa.
By the Emperor, it's the Seneschal, living and breathing. Oh, well, there's a tricky question. The old place is so overgrown with foul wickedry, we'll be scrubbing it off the vid screens for throne knows how long.
How did you people survive in here?
Must have been Providence. It better have been the Emperor's, not someone else's. When they barged in here, the ones with the Master of Whispers, some officers charged them, but it wasn't even a fight. I grabbed whoever I could and dragged them behind the cogitators. Then, I prayed for our rescue.
Yep, and so we came. Your words seem to knock the officers out of their stupor, and the air around you fills with voices and commands being issued. You hear someone sobbing, one of the survivors buckling under the stress. Abelard cuffs the crying officer without even looking.
Restore the Vox channel to the Navigator's Sanctum. Ready the crew. Prepare for translation to real space. You may call me superstitious, but translation is not a good time to disregard rules. You are the only one who speaks for House von Valancius. You may not be the Lord Captain, but you, more than anyone else, deserve to take her place in the ritual that is about to commence.
What must I do?
Take the Lord Captain's seat. Order the final preparations. Wait for the officers to report. Oh, blast it all to the void! Translation is a craft, not something that can be explained in a tick. Just go up to the throne, Master. These people are about to do the impossible. The least they deserve is the solace of seeing a figure sitting in the usual spot. Oh, please, hurry. Every second we waste is a terrible risk.
Fair enough. I am ready. Begin the ritual. You can do it, Llama. The image before you is hazy, swaying in sorcerous curtains invisible to the mortal eyes, as if whatever is beneath this thin shell is constantly changing while still remaining the same. It has taken on the guise of Theodora, but the false rogue trader's eyes reveal the entity's true, surreal nature. One of Theodora's eyes is engulfed in otherworldly fire, the other, in a vessel of ancient evil, bores into you. A voice seeps directly into your brain without ever reaching your ears, and this voice booms with all the horrors of the warp.
Mortal, who are you to oppose the very flows of fate? It matters not. Your footfalls are an echo of the sand pouring between the scales. Your hopes and faith are my mockery.
she don't like that I ran through the fires, huh? Well, I have already resisted the temptation of the warp once. Whatever you are, you will not cloud my mind with a new illusion.
Resisting the inevitable means only that realization and submission will bring greater torment. There is no power that can hinder the flows of fate.
The aspirant vowed to return with a trophy, a relic that could serve the edge of daybreak. That fate was assured, and the steps chosen. And yet, you broke the unbreakable when you took the aspirant's place. I see you. On the day when the final dawn rises over the Iron World, I see you by my side on that day. The day of my resurrection.
Sorry, bud, not playing heretical this time around.
Your image is woven into the tapestry of things to come. I am the will of the weaver of destinies, and today I will weave a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances. The thread that will lead you out of the maw of irreversibility. The thread that will help you find the keys to salvation. The thread that will guide you and the weapon of our return to me.
I thought we were dealing with Slaanesh because of all the desires and wanting to take someone's place. But this sounds a lot more like Tzeentch.
The path is set, child of the dawn. The thread is woven. Follow it, servant of mine.
No thanks, buddy.
Seneschal, the Navigator's sanctum is silent. The Vox signal is stable, which means...
The Navigator gave his life battling the storm that nearly claimed the Von Valancius flagship. We will honor his memory, along with that of all who died this day.
Yep, and no more warp travel until we get a new navigator. Not risking anything close to that shit again.
Seneschal, will you tell us now? Who is that? Where's the Lord Captain?
As First Officer, it is my duty to inform you with the greatest regret and indelible sorrow that Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius is dead. May her memory never fade from the annals of the dynasty. By right of blood succession, and with the absence of other kin who could challenge this decision.
No, I'm definitely saying nothing.
It is hereby declared that the successor to Theodora von Valancius is her heir, the rightful inheritor of the Warrant of Trade, and the title of Rogue Trader. The official ascension ceremony will be held at a later time. In the interim, have you lost your tongues? Hail your lord. It is because of his toils that we all still live. The deed is done, Master. My apologies. I meant to say Lord Captain.
Here we go.
The treachery of the Master of Whispers was fruitless, but victory came at a great cost. Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius perished along with her heir, Edelthrad, and thousands of crew members. Yet hope remained, for the second in line to the Rogue Trader dynasty survived. To hang the ancestral banners once again, and exact vengeance on the enemies of House von Valancius and humanity.
And we are finally through the tutorial. Chapter 1 is still a little bit of your hands tied behind your back, and the game starts to open up after we get into Chapter 2. But at the end of the day, we now have the tutorial behind us, and we get to start making at least a couple of decisions. I'm just getting nervous because my instruments keep screwing with me. I'm hoping that it actually is recording and not just screwing me over, but I guess we're gonna have to find out. Deep shadows of wariness can be seen on Abelard's face. Through the old officer's eyes are keen. They rake you over from head to toe. He frowns and mutters something, then nods to himself. Well then, your lordship. You had us worried for a few hours there. Abelard offers a thin smile. But after witnessing you fearlessly rush into the fray on deck, the only thing that surprises me is how long you stayed on your feet. Your strength only left you once the fighting was all over. Such fortitude is most admirable in a Lord Captain. You must now hold your first officer's briefing in your new role as Lord Captain. For many of those who are about to join us on the bridge, this will also be their first briefing. We sustained massive losses during the senior and middle-ranking officers. Some posts have had to be filled by the deputy's deputy, while others go unfilled entirely. And now the deck clans are deciding who will take over the leaderless crews. How did we come to lose so many officers? It appears the heretics were deliberately targeting the vessel's command. They knew exactly whom they were looking for and where they could be found, which is surprising given that their informant on board was our own Master of Whispers. What is on the agenda for this meeting? Reports on the condition of the ship and crew. The Lord Captain is not usually drawn away from her important affairs to attend such routine briefings, but this is a unique situation. I am still receiving updates from across the ship that are not encouraging. Getting this bird to fly could take a gargantuan effort. Even so, so far as your personally negotiating with the authorities of the system we are currently in. So prepare to hear a bevy of complaints and excuses. Your lordship, take this opportunity to get a good look at the officers who work 6 decks away from the bridge, and they in turn will have the honor of beholding the visage of their Lord Captain. Have you succeeded in tracking down Vogtfear? Abelard grits his teeth. No, Lord Captain. In all the commotion, his trail went cold. Our people are still on the hunt for him, and any mutineers who may have been skulking in the ship's many corridors. But frankly, I would not be surprised to hear that we are now one shuttle short. I am afraid that it will be some time before he answers for all that he has wrought. Yeah, well, that day is coming soon. No, I don't want to do 3, because I am ready to start the briefing and summon the officers. With a gesture, Abelard relays the order to the adjudicants at the far end of the magnificent chamber. Please be voiced. A dozen pair of eyes bore into you, the expression revealing restraint, joy, curiosity, and wariness. Attention, officers! You have been granted an honor. Lord Captain Lamedicus von Valancius will personally conduct today's briefing. Our most gracious Lord Captain is ready to hear your reports. Perhaps you would introduce those present, Abelard. As you wish, your lordship. Abelard points to a tall, slender woman whose body seems to contain as many implants as it does flesh. Victus Suri Ota of the Ptolemy line, our new Voxmaster. It is an honor to serve your lordship. The Voxmaster offers a deep bow. Aboard this vessel you have at your command thousands of crew members and hundreds of officers and section chiefs. I am responsible for receiving, processing, and sending all communications between you and them, as well as external sources. I am your eyes and mouth, Lord Captain. It's at least one person doing their job. Beside her is Ravor, the master helmsman. He steers our ship along the course set by the Lord Captain and monitors the void around us to ensure that we do not stray into an asteroid field or a pirate trap. Grandpa! The bearded man with pale, almost transparent skin, large dark circles under his eyes, and a dour expression that seems hardwired into his face, gives a sullen nod. Hail, Lord Captain. This here ship's as good as home to me, so rest assured she's in safe hands. I'll die before I let her come to any grief. And lastly, our High Factorium, Janris Danrock, who oversees supplies, procurement, and the general material well-being of the ship. Dressed in an embroidered jacket, the heavy-set man with oiled hair offers his obsequious smile and bows. Oh God, my vocabulary is really shit. It is an honor, your lordship. You may trust me with all matters concerning your comfort. Everything will be to the highest of standards. In the second row, we have 3 officers charged with overseeing the ship's vital functions. The Master of Ordnance is responsible for artillery aboard, the Infernus Master, whose crew work to prevent and extinguish fires on the ship, and lastly, the Drive Master, the servant of the Omnissiah. 3 officers salute you. The Infernus Master does so with confidence, while the Master of Ordnance betrays nervousness. The Drive Master offers a salute resembling a dance, involving a complicated manipulation of all the Tech Priest's mechadendrites. Is that everyone? Unfortunately, our Choir Master, the esteemed Zachary Weiss, head of the Astropath section, is unable to join us. He is in charge of communications with distant star systems. Master Weiss has been in a trance for some time now, attempting to contact other planets in the Von Valancius Protectorate and inform them of Lady Theodora's passing and Conrad Voigtveer's treachery. I will deliver a report to your lordship on the Astropath's progress as soon as it is possible to do so. Very good, Vigdis. It is equally regrettable that 2 more individuals worthy of mention could not join us at the briefing. The Master of Arms and Confessor Adalbert. The eminent Adalbert must see to the funeral service being held for the fallen officers, of whom there are too many for him to take leave from the chapel, and Mistress Sourback, who has replaced her late predecessor as our Master of Arms, is currently leading the search for any surviving agents of Voigtveer. Again, good work, Janris. Let's see. You know what? Let's start off with the Master of Ordnance. He seemed super nervous. All others present are adjudicants, secretaries, and deputies. They are here to make a record of their proceedings. Yeah. Master of Ordnance, do you have anything to report? Master of Ordnance gives you a gloomy look. No, my job's simple. Maintain the arsenal and fire where I'm told. But just ask anyone. We've got no able crew, no Lord Captain. Hey, you son of a bitch. I'm right here. Master of Ordnance, you forget yourself. So what? The ship's in ruins, every second officer's dead, and now we've got a green Lord Captain who's supposed to lead us to void knows where? Silence! Enforcers, seize this mutineer! To be fair, you know, yeah, well, you deserve that, but honestly, he does have a good point. If only one officer out of the whole lot has fallen to pieces, then that's not bad at all. Your lordship, I do humbly apologize on behalf of the entire crew. What would you have us do with the Master of Ordnance? The former Master of Ordnance, I should say, besides find a replacement, that is, for we already have one lined up. Stand down. Release him. I have no intention of punishing a man for a moment of weakness, not after the terrible attack we have endured. Cease your sniveling, you disgrace yourself and your entire clan. Enough! The hysterics are over. Let us resume. Master of Ordnance stands up, wiping the blood from his broken nose. His face is the picture of shock. What just happened seems to be dawning on him only now, in the knowledge of the fate he so narrowly escaped. Yeah, no, that's... Everybody gets one, buddy. Ashar Nitalomo. That's a hell of a name you got, man. You should use it more often. Now let's go with the dude who is confident. I wish to hear the Infernus Master's report. Yes, Lord Captain. Oh, you're the dude I ran into beforehand. You're our firefighter, bro. Yes, Lord Captain. I can report that all fires across all decks have now been extinguished. The preliminary damage assessment in terms of material losses and crew casualties has been completed. The results have been submitted to the Seneschal and the High Factorum. Thank you, Imric. Very well done. The post passed to him after the previous Infernus Master and his next 3 deputies expired in the line of duty. The lad is managing well so far. He can take the heat, so to speak. Yeah, I agree 100%. He seems to be on the ball. High Factotum? High Factotum. What have you to report? We are tolling day and night to compile a full account of the losses. The task will require next to no involvement from your lordship. I will personally ensure that all damaged components are given to the tech priest's hands for attention, and that all lost supplies are replaced. There is only one resource that I cannot replenish single-handedly, and that is people. We have lost more than 2,000 crew members, and unfortunately this number is not confined to the scum from the lower decks, which are easily replaced, but also includes trained professionals. We will be able to make up our losses on the nearest planet, Rykard Minoris. However, the planet, the whole system in fact, belongs to the Winter Scale Rogue Trader Dynasty. We cannot simply begin recruiting on a planet without first coming to an understanding with the governor. In that respect, I am powerless. Negotiations at this level are a matter for the Rogue Trader. Fair enough, buddy. Good job otherwise. Especially true given Caligo's Winterscale's penchant for attacking first and asking questions later, and the kind of thick-skulled thugs he usually installs as governors on his planet. Drive Master, I will hear from you now. Lord Captain, the foes set upon this noble void ship destroyed the repositories of hundreds of machine spirits. The great warp engine entrusted into my charge is unharmed, thank the Omnisire, but the spirit mourns its dead brethren. We have not yet identified a prayer protocol capable of assuaging its sorrow and anger. With great sorrow, I must also report that the Engine Seer Prime, overseer and spiritual authority of all tech priests on board, fell in battle. The Magos was betrayed by the little flesh that remained part of him. A most terrible loss. There is no one among my comrades aboard whose experience and comprehension of the sacred protocols equals that of the fallen Magos. We require a replacement, and as soon as possible. I see. Thank you. Good work, Drive Master Z. Ratalar. The tech priest bows her head. Master Helmsman, delivered your status report. Right you are, Lord Captain. To cut a long story short, the outlook is bleak. The ship's sound, more or less, but without our Engine Seer Prime and Navigator, who fell in battle, we have no way out of the system. If we try to set so much as a toe inside the warp, I don't know what'll happen first. Our warp drive being torn to pieces, or all of us melting into the bulkheads. Your lordship, if you will allow me to interject, when we arrived in the system, my crew followed standard protocols and conducted a count of all available communication channels in the Sorry about that. In the region. One of them was a Navis Nobility station. The station maintains complete Vox silence, but even its presence here inspires hope. To have located a navigator in the very same system is an incredible stroke of luck, a true blessing from the God Emperor. If I were you, I'd grab this chance with both hands, or else you'll soon be eyeing up asteroids to use as your new residence. In slightly less shitty news, we can go round and round this system till our heads are swimming, as long as the Prometheum supplies last. And if any thick as grok shit lowlifes come sniffing around, we'll be able to take them out, so don't worry on that score. To summarize, we have sustained serious losses in crew members, and we require a new Engine Seer Prime as navigator. Is this all that is preventing us from continuing the voyage? Precisely, Lord Captain, but bear in mind that this will not be the end of our trials. The ship's systems must be properly inspected for major damage, which can only be carried out at Footfall Station, home to the only dockyard in the sector. But we will never reach Footfall without first solving these 3 immediate problems. What can you tell me about the system in which we currently find ourselves? I cede to the Voxmaster on this point. Mistress Tolaman? Sorry, I need just a second. I'm not used to talking this much. We are in the Rykard star system, and our voyage here was undertaken on the orders of your lordship's predecessor. There are 3 inhabited bodies in this system, and our attempts to send Vox messages have produced confounding results. The Navis Nobility station has not simply failed to answer, it seems to be maintaining total Vox silence. However, we did receive a distress signal from the prison planetoid in the system, and Rykard Minoris itself is also not responding to our hails. But what is most alarming is that our augurs have intercepted signals from the surface that seem to indicate ongoing hostilities on the planet. That's not good. The situation is not very encouraging, but without a navigator, a tech priest, and other crew members, we won't be able to travel anywhere. Therefore, we must go to the planet and the Navis Nobility station and find out what in the void is going on. Thank you all for your reports. Dismissed. The assembled officers salute you as one. Please tell me we're getting back to the voice bit soon. I don't know how long my vocal cords can take it. Your lordship, there's only one thing. A confidential matter of the utmost importance. Lady Theodora, your eternally esteemed predecessor, brought the ship here to this system for a reason. She was given a secret commission. You perhaps are wondering who has the authority to commission a rogue trader to do anything. And I shall tell you, the Lord Inquisitor, the hand of the Emperor and the chief architect of his will in the Cronus Expanse. I came across a strange handwritten letter on Theodora's desk. It was signed XC. You are referring to the contents of that note, I presume? Yes, quite right. Xavier Cal Cesar. Lady Theodora was to seek out Lord Inquisitor's right-hand man, one Heinrich van Kalux, an interrogator, you understand. All I know is that he is somewhere in this system, that we must find him and offer him whatever assistance he requires, and then deliver him to Footfall in the Furibundus system. Finding him without any more information to go on will be difficult indeed, but an Inquisitor is an important individual. The authorities in the system, either the Navis Nobilite or the governor of Rykard Minoris, may know something. That is all of it, your lordship. You have a great deal of work ahead of you, but it is a mere taste of the daily burden of a rogue trader. Soon you must take up the reins of the Von Valancius Protectorate. Abelard gives you another scrutinizing look, as if trying to gauge how long you will hold out under this mountain of problems. His face softens slightly, and it seems he is about to offer some words of encouragement. Until we are interrupted. Idira, Sister Argenta, explain yourselves. The Sister of Battle grimly nods towards Idira. The Psyker is suffering some ailment, or dark madness. She insisted on seeing the rogue trader. I judged that it would be unwise to leave her unsupervised. For a brief moment, Sister Argenta's voice sounds hesitant. I was also hoping to approach you with a personal request, but it can wait. Speak with me when you have time, rogue trader. Daybreak. Idira, come to your senses. Damn it. Your lordship, here's the thing. I was trying to see the immediate future, and it hit me so hard my head is still spinning. Something very strange is heading our way, and I can't make out what it is, no matter how hard I try. A single word is all I can make out. Daybreak, or maybe it's dawn, and it's ringing like an echo, like a bell. But if it's daybreak, then why is it so dark? We cannot extract any information of value from a single word. Can you tell us anything else, Mistress Thlas? No, not yet anyway. The voices are going berserk, all shouting at once. I can't make any sense of it. As soon as I know or sense anything, I'll report it, alright? Lord Captain, if you want me to take a closer look into your future, find me on the bridge and we can talk. Lady Theodora was well served by my whispers on many occasions, and I'm sure you would benefit from them as well. Well, hopefully, you're back to being able to accurately predict things, because this last 24-hour span, you have been real shit at seeing things coming. If there's nothing else of value to report, I declare this briefing concluded. It is time to get to work. Sorry about this. This episode is going to be almost entirely dialogue, because we have a lot of people to talk to. Hello, Vigdis. A thin, pale woman stands out among the rest of the crew. There's a thick bundle of cables coming out of the back of her skull and disappearing under the ceremonial garment. And you see the grate of a quietly humming vox where her mouth should be. This woman sees you and bows her head in a respectful greeting. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. How may I serve you, Lord Captain? Let's go with the Fellowship. Connect me to the vessel's main channel. I wish to bolster the morale of my crew. It is done, Lord Captain. You address the crew with a rousing speech and hear your voice roll through the ship, reaching even the normally quiet corners of the vessel. When the broadcast ends, you hear distant shouts of approval. Remind me who you are. Voxmaster Octavius Vigdis Suri Ota of the Ptoleman dynasty, the current Voxmaster serving aboard your vessel. In accordance with the Seneschal's orders, I assume this duty immediately upon the demise of the esteemed Voxmaster Septimus, who was my grandfather. Oh, my condolences. What are the Voxmaster's duties? I am the ears and the voice of the Void Ship. I supervise several dozen officers and 3 times that number of support personnel. We receive, send, encrypt, and decode all incoming and outgoing messages through the ship's internal and external channels. We also ensure clean communications and the optimal efficiency of the crew's Voxcasters. If you ever want to know what worries and concerns your crews are harboring, what your subjects are whispering about in the local networks after their watches, and what their leaders are clamoring about over shortwave Vox transmissions, just come and see me. I will satisfy your curiosity. Have the Vox spirits brought you anything interesting lately? Forgive me, Lord Captain. I have no information that would be of interest to you at this moment. Damn. Your appearance is quite unique. You are Voidborn, are you not? My appearance comes from my heritage, generation after generation of people who spent their entire lives in the depths of this void ship. Neither we nor our ancestors have ever left our home, but the same can be said about many denizens of the Imperium's million worlds. We are used to the silence of the cosmos and the voices of the ship. There are thousands of us, but we dwell far from the Lord Captain's upper decks and remain unseen. We are the Voidborn. Where does the word Voidborn come from? Take two guesses, man. Because we are the children born in the void between the stars, be it the womb of a traveling vessel, an orbital satellite, or a forgotten asteroid station. Low-gravity voyages through the warp and the countless dangers of space travel. Everything others hate and dread is second nature to us. Tell me about the lives of the Voidborn in my crew. To us, the groans, creaks, and murmurs of the ship sound the way babbling brooks and singing birds do to world dwellers. We hear the ship breathe and know that what it is feeling and thinking. We are part of the ship, just like it is part of us. We perform numerous functions, and there are many officers among our number. Some maintain order and prevent mutiny. Others serve as shepherds and support the crew. Some devote themselves to the mending of the body and spirit of the vessel. Most of the Voidborn are members of large void ship dynasties that bear responsibility for a certain aspect of the ship's life. For 300 years, the main branch of the Ptoleman dynasty has produced the ship's Vox Masters, and most of our subordinates come from the cadet houses of that dynasty. How do you find life on the ship? Life has been quite generous to me, Lord Captain. I am the Vox Master, and only the best in the dynasty can become one. By virtue of my skills and position, no one has ever denied me anything. Our family claims a spacious section for its Oh god, I can't read that. For its area. I also enjoy long walks through the narrow and dimly lit corridors of the ship, listening to the sounds of activity, falling asleep and waking up to the chanting of hymns, and admiring the stars beyond, of course. How do others of on the ship treat you? We look, speak, and move differently from the inhabitants of the planetary worlds. Our way of life, traditions, and quirks frighten these people just like the darkness of the cosmos. Many believe us to be the bringers of ill fortune, and alas, it is the Voidborn who gets the blame for terrible warp phenomena during longer voyages. Oh, that fucking sucks. Vigdis hesitates before continuing. Several years ago, an unfortunate warp jump caused all the food on board to spoil. 15 days later, a hungry and furious crew nearly massacred everyone on the lower decks, blaming us for the misfortune and hoping to restock the larders with our flesh. I would have been killed during the mutiny had Adira Talas not shown up in the right place at the right time. She came to my rescue, and the scoundrels' fear of her was even greater than their fear of the Voidborn. Looks like you are close friends with Adira. The Voidborn seldom make friends, especially among the captain's entourage. But, you see, many consider Adira to be different. I am different too. We have spent plenty of time in each other's company discussing regicide over a glass of Amasec. Okay. Discussing chess over a glass of Amasec, not the killing of kings. Except Idira changed after one incident, and we started to drift apart. The death of the Lord Captain Theodora made her withdraw even more. I do not know if Idira considers me her friend now, but we used to be very, very close. It is good I can still look after her in my own way. Perception test succeeded. Interpreting the Voxmaster's emotions based on a face and a Vox-modulated voice is no easy task, but you managed to catch the undercurrent in Vigdis's words. The Voxmaster is not merely saddened by her rift with Idira, she is devastated by it. Aw, you poor thing. Have you ever left the ship? Oh, I did once, and it was dreadful. It felt like the massive blue dome overhead could shatter at any moment and fall, and my bones would be crushed by the gravity. Vigdis twitches at her shoulders, trying to ward off the flood of memories. This ship is my home, Lord Captain, and I would not trade it even for the bounty of 100 worlds. I see. Let us return to business. As you wish, Lord Captain. That will be all for now. I live to serve, Lord Captain. Alright. Like I said, forewarning, there's going to be a lot of dialogue in this episode. Because we have got to go around and double check with everybody. I did not realize you were here. Heinrich Montag, at your service. He smells of cinders and EHO. Common form of recreational stimulant. Okay. So I smell like Low too. His face is sooty and his belt is laden with a number of heavy tools. You would have taken him for a laborer if it weren't for the greasy and ragged officer's uniform. Remind me of who you are. I am just a humble laborer in charge of putting out fires and dealing with emergencies, but everyone calls me the Infernus Master. I guess this is because I answer for them with my life. With your life, you say? That's right. Picture flames roaring. All the ship systems have failed, including the artificial gravity. You can't make out anything because of the red-hot debris. And you know an explosion is coming. It's a nightmare, but it's your job to evacuate the panicked crew, eliminate the cause of the fire, and get the compartment back in working order. God damn, dude. You are a superhero. I'm glad to have you on my team. Of course, the job description doesn't allow me to risk my life now. He smiles sadly. It is all about management these days, sending the boys and girls into the fire. But it's all nonsense, and if the going gets tough, I won't leave them there alone. What kind of emergencies does the Infernus Guild deal with? Oh, there are many. Accidents due to external factors, for example, hits from the enemy guns or collisions with hollow objects, like the wreckages of other ships. There are plenty of internal causes as well, from system malfunctions and short circuits to problematic cargo. A couple of years ago, something blew up in the hold, nearly burnt it to a crisp. And then there's the sabotage. That Vogfir snake did a lot of damage to the ship. A laborer? Then why are you lounging on the bridge? The simple answer is because nothing is on fire. As head of the Infernus Guild, I'm mired in the officers' routine of reports and discussions. There are several compartment upgrades and refurbishments on the agenda right now, and I have to make sure that fire safety protocols are followed everywhere. Rest assured, I'll scurry back to the technical bays to do manual labor as soon as all the paperwork is done. Yeah, fair enough, bro. Alright. Aren't you being a little bit too relaxed in front of your Lord Captain? Perhaps because I live under the constant threat of an agonizing death by fire. I have a repressed, what's the word? Self-preservation instinct? Or maybe I just relish every minute I get to breathe low smoke instead of cinders. I humbly apologize for my manners, Lord Captain. He continues to smile without a shred of embarrassment. Do not forget that I'm your master. No, this is fine. I enjoy having informal conversations. Yeah, I like number 3. You're an interesting person, Heinrich. Chuckling, the Infernus Master takes out a new low stick and lights it. Not half as interesting as you are, Lord Captain. How did you come to be in service of the Von Valancius dynasty? Not in the usual way. My ancestors wronged yours and were appointed Inferni as a result. Hard labor, deadly risks, plenty of opportunities to atone. Those criminals have been dead for generations, but we are still serving their time. Maybe we will find redemption one day. You call it redemption, but you seem to love your job, dude. Tell me more about the Infernus Guild. What interests you the most? Our duty, our state-of-the-art equipment, or our vibrant traditions? How is the guild organized? The Infernus service is split into different brigades according to their duties. The heart of the guild are, of course, our liquidators. Tough guys with nerves of steel who put out fires and pull people from the flames. Others are repairmen dealing with the problems like jammed doors, fuel leaks, and broken vents. And then there's the walking inspectors, who check the decks to make sure that nothing is blocking any passages or access to communication lines. State-of-the-art equipment? That sounds interesting. That was a bit of a stretch. I'm sorry. There is no state-of-the-art equipment. The risks of ruining it in a fire are too great. We get by using human resources and the most common items available. Respirators, fire extinguishers, and fire-retardant uniforms. Let's face it, the lives of the Inferni are not worth much. It's more important that we save the machines and minimize the damage to the ship. Welcome to the Imperium, buddy. What traditions? We have plenty of those, like the reminders. Rolls up his sleeve, revealing a tattoo inscribed over an old burn mark. When you survive a particularly hopeless accident, you get a tattoo on your scar. You can always tell an experienced Infernus by their ink. It's like a badge of honor of sorts. Tell me how you got your reminders. He points to a tattoo on his right forearm. This one is from the time plasma leaked from the outer aft circuit. Imagine yourself clinging to the hole outside, thermal cutter in one hand and a magnetic clamp in the other. As your flames burst from the breach, the kind that can incinerate you in a second. All that separates you from death is a flimsy rope and a void suit more ancient than Holy Terra. And yet, the price I paid was nothing compared to my comrades. He slowly moves the augmented fingers of his right hand. As for this one, I got this one in the ammo depot where my wife, Elsinora, died. There was a fire and the flames were getting close to the ammunition. And I don't mean autogun rounds. These were macro cannon shells. Oh shit. Yeah, that could have blown out an entire section of the ship. You're damn lucky on that one. I am sorry for your wife, though. We put out the fire as best we could, but we were losing suddenly. Elsie took my hand, kissed me, and then ran straight into the blaze and activated the emergency blast door. We stayed outside while she vented the compartment. Heinrich gives a tender smile, gazing at the smoke. It was quite the story. I'm sorry for your loss, Heinrich. He nods gratefully and takes another puff. I've learned all I need. That is enough for now, Heinrich. Never let your fire go out, Lord Captain. I mean, no. That's just a stupid little Gildan joke. Seriously, if you see an Infernus next to a naked flame, run. Fair enough, buddy. I don't think I talked to you on my first playthrough. I did not realize you were there. Alright, so that's Argenta. Do we see the one guy who we slapped the crap out of? No, but we do see Grandpa. I think after Grandpa we are going to have to call it because we are running out of time rather quickly. The tall man before you appears to be woven from tendons and muscle. Blue veins snake under his white, almost dove-colored skin, and his scalp and chin are covered in cropped white hair. His neck and shoulders are wrapped in wires that hint at the presence of neural connectors under his uniform. The officer's face seems to be twisted in a perpetual grimace of annoyance and anger, and he greets you with a respectful nod. Lord Captain, Master Helmsman Revor at your service. Remind me, who are you? I'm the Master Helmsman, Lord Captain. I stand at the wheel of this here tub. I mean your vessel, and bark commands at the idiots who tend to its related systems. In layman's terms, I'm the one who stops us from running into an asteroid or a disruptive gravitational wave when we're traveling through the void. Do you control the ship in real space? I wish that was my only job. I have to steer her through the warp too, but most of the credit for that goes to the navigator. The warp's a nightmare, always tossing up something new. All my years at the helm, they count for nothing in there. My part's small enough. I just monitor our systems, follow the charted route, and I don't kick up a fuss when new orders come in from the navigator's sanctum. Real space, now that's where I keep my eyes peeled. Gravitational anomalies, void currents, hard radiation, that kind of shit shows up everywhere. Thank the God Emperor the augurs on this vessel are holding up, and so we've been able to spot if something bad's coming our way. Who are these idiots you're in charge of? There are too many to list them all. Tech priests from the Engineerum, voidsmen from the auger decks, and the work-shy fools on the bridge. I'd have every last one of them flogged. They all need a wake-up call. They needed to be whipped into shape, or else this ship will be going nowhere. Or even worse, it'll go somewhere we don't want it to. Yeah, fair enough. You are Voidborn, are you not? That I am. Born into the Helmsman clan in the bowels of the Chartist vessel. Studied the family trade until I was 15. Then my entire clan was butchered in a mutiny by lower hold scum. They spared the young'uns. Of course they did. Kids with implanted connectors make great navigational servitors. But I was having none of it. They weren't going to make a servitor out of me. So I escaped into the crawlways. And then I spent months picking them off, one after another. You got me talking up a storm. Anyway, yes, I'm a Voidborn. No, finish your story, buddy. Not much to tell. I gutted everyone I could get to, and then fled upwards to the middle decks. That's where the auger operators took me under their wing. They have apprentice helmsmen of their own up there, you see. Nobody asked me any questions, so I stayed. I grew up, trained, got smarter, then ended up a junior helmsman a dozen years later. Dan Rock spotted me and lured me away. The cheeky blighter. Oh, my master of coin? Nice. I can see you are not a gregarious sort. Have I done something to displease you, Lord Captain? On the contrary, you're the first person on the bridge who's not tripping over themselves to lick my boots. Oh yeah? Well, I'm pleasantly surprised myself that you aren't having me flogged for insubordination. Will wonders ever cease? Connecting wires, once they go into the control panel, I become one with the ship. Except the bloody cogs messed up the wires, stimulus, injectors, and connectors when they implanted them. They twisted the wires the wrong way or burned something in my noggin. Anyway, I can't sleep. It just doesn't happen anymore. It's been 30 years of non-stop stimulants and a head-splitting a splitting headache. So you'll forgive me if I'm not all smiles, Lord Captain. Jesus. Dude, and I thought I was bad. I'm not on 30 years of insomnia quite yet, even though I am working my way there. Tell me about the Voidborn. Lord Captain, I mean no disrespect, but you'd do better to find yourself with someone with a knack for conversation, like Ptolemy, the new Voxmaster. I ain't the talking type. I just get the ship where she needs to go. Best let folks stick to what they do best. What can you tell me about the other officers? Good-for-nothing wasters, that's what they are, each and every one. Take Janris Danrock, the man who saved you, that highborn weasel. He fawns over the officers, but some of the deals he makes would get him burned alive. He drags other people into his schemes so they can take the fall for him. 2. One of my junior helmsmen was ferrying goods from Footfall for him, got caught by the Seneschal, and ended up in a void hatch. Danrock couldn't care less. What a prick. The Voxmaster, another Ptoleman like the last one, Void rest him, is no better. She cut off half the Vox channels the day she took her up her post, said the Vox systems were damaged and the Engineerum had no contact with the other modules. But how am I supposed to steer the ship? Collect the COG reports with the power of my mind. First off, Officer Werserian. I can't stand him. I like every Navy officer I ever met. He doesn't know a thing about controlling a vessel in the void, but he puffs himself up all the same and throws his weight around. Me and him have had words a few times before he left me alone. Thank the Emperor Lady Theodora trusted me more than the Seneschal when it came to helming a void ship. Then there's that woman. What's her name? Talas? Lady Theodora brought her along wherever she went, and look what happened to her. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out it was that witch that delivered her to an early grave. Just like countless souls before. I don't see why anyone would want that walking calamity on their ship, but some would disagree. They say she's friends with young Ptolemy, or at least she used to be. Tell me, do you like anyone at all? What kind of a question is that? I like you, and Lady Theodora before you. Where would I be if I was just making cracks at the rogue trader? I don't want to die just yet. I must take my leave. Lord Captain? Alright, well, unfortunately, it's getting to be about that time of the hour. Like I said, sorry that this episode was basically all dialogue. Hopefully we'll be able to get to at least a little bit of combat next episode, but I want to thank each and every one of you for coming along with me. I hope you all have had a wonderful day, and until I see you next time, have fun, and stay safe out there.